Hi, this is Carl Potter, and welcome to my online classroom at Potter and Associates International and the Safety Institute. I am so glad you've tuned in for a positive start to a new year of safety. And this year, we're going to focus on no injuries. How about that? How about nobody gets hurt? That's what that's what we focused on last year. Yeah, how'd that work for you, as they say? You know, the thing about it is this year, what we want to focus on, we are still focusing on zero injuries. We're still focusing on the goal that I've been teaching people all around the United States and Canada that, nobody gets hurt. That's the essential goal. Nobody gets hurt. If nobody gets hurt, what's the number? Zero. Hey, so that's what we do. But, everybody's always asking me, Carl, what does it take? What does it take to hit? Well, I'll tell you, this year I want to focus on something that, kind of a new message that maybe you can grasp onto. And I've talked to several groups about it, and they've been excited about it as much as I am. And here it is. Think about it. Predictable professional performance and safety. How do you like that? Isn't that great? Yeah, you say, well, there goes that consultant again. He's making stuff up. Yeah, well, that's about the way it goes in this business. But I want something that'll get in your head. This year, when you're getting ready to go out and do a job and your boss is pushing you and your boss is telling you, hey, come on now, we got to get this job done. You know how it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, we just left that safety meeting where your boss said, hey, by the way, the goal is nobody gets hurt. Yeah, now let's get out there and get after it and get that job done as quickly as possible. And you're sitting there thinking, quickly, I thought safety was number one. Not quickly, and it gets all confusing. But we all know what that means. Come on, there's a responsibility here that we all have, and that is to not get injured. And to not get injured, you got to do a few things. One of the things you got to do is you got to plan your work. You got to plan it so that you can do it professionally. Now think about that for just a minute. Because as I trained in the industry and as a high voltage electrician, in line work and substation work and in the power plant and things like that I did, and as I travel across the country working with petrochem companies, food service companies, and electric utility companies, what I find is that when I review a lot of the injuries that have happened, I hate to admit this and I hate to say it, but you know what? Not every time, but many of the times, the person that got hurt should have done something professionally that would have prevented their injury. So let's just be honest about it. This year, let's look at it. Let's quit playing the rhetoric and saying, oh yeah, we're going to hope we don't get hurt, and we're just going to focus on zero injuries, and that's going to do it. No, that's not what's going to do it. Actual professional performance. For instance, now many of you know, if you followed my work, I'm an airplane pilot and a flight instructor, and I love doing that on the side. It's my hobby, but I fly myself to a lot of the speaking engagements and consulting engagements and training sessions I conduct across the U.S. And I love flying. I love flying for another reason, because I'm so passionate about safety. I learn a lot about safety. Now, let's go there for just a minute. Can you imagine, just imagine yourself for a moment. I'd say, hey, let's go out for a plane ride. You say, hey, I'm excited. Let's do that. Boy, we're going to go out and we're going to see things that we've never seen before. Going to go out in Carl's Cessna 182. Yeah, you're excited. Well, many of you are not. But anyway, stick with me on this. Here's the deal. We go out there and we drag it out of my hangar, little dust on it, because I may have not flown it in, say, a week and a half or something like that, been on the road and haven't had a chance. But I said, hey, it's okay. A week and a half ago, it was great. So I pull it out without dusting it off or anything. I open the door. I unlock your door. You climb in. We get in. I start the engine and say, you ready? At that point, the smartest thing you could do is jump out of that plane and say, no, hang on, Carl. Wait, time out. I thought professional pilots pre-flighted. I thought professional, and I go, oh, well, they do, but hey, it's just us. No, I got to think like a professional myself, even though I'm a safety consultant now, but I'm also, I try to act like a professional pilot, because if y'all haven't heard, you can die flying in a plane. The chances are, if I die in my airplane, there's a really good chance, or if I crash my airplane and live through it, there's a really good chance that I could have done something to prevent it. In fact, according to the research that's out there, it's a 95% chance that if I do everything Well, in fact, it's more than 95%, but work with me on this because that's a pretty big number. But think about it. We're leaving it up to happenstance any other way. There's a 95% chance of success if I act in a professional way, check my gas, check my oil, walk the airplane around, make sure all the parts are on and they're working, check my radios, make sure everything looks good, do a good solid run up, bring that engine up and let it have a chance to fail on the ground, make sure the oil pressure's up, make sure the temperatures are good and everything else, and you'll be sitting there going, yeah, let's go flying. But you know what? If I don't do that, you ought to just jump out because it's stupid. Now, let's take that to the workplace. Let's say you're working in a factory. You go out there and you're getting ready to do something, and your boss comes up and says, hey, don't worry about lockout, tagout. Not this time. It's not a big deal. Nobody's around anyway, and we got to get this job done fast. You wouldn't even think about it. You'd say, what? What, are you crazy? Now, on the other side of that, the person who doesn't practice lockout, tagout gets their hand trapped in a piece of equipment that they failed to do lockout, tagout, which, by the way, they learn as a professional doing their job, and they fail to do it. Let's take the electrician that goes out there, and just like I did, and fails to test their gloves before they use them, fails to inspect their gloves on that daily basis. And then the one that fails to even put the gloves on, for crying out loud, hello. In 2013, we can make a difference. Let me tell you something. Last year, there were many deaths and serious injuries due to falls from heights. Now, in almost every case, well, in fact, every case, let's put it that way. Every case, somebody had fall protection available to them and they failed to use it. Not only did they fail to put it on, they failed to clip in. And, okay, and I'm not, I'm not talking bad about the folks that have lost their lives. That is so sad that that happened. But the other thing is, why did they not act professionally? Because if they had that fall protection, a harness, and they were taught to put it on, and they were taught to take that clip and clip it into that anchor point so that they didn't fall, okay? If they failed to do it, they failed, all right? So what we've got to do in 2013, here's what we want to do. 2013, think about it. All of 2013, we're not just going to focus on nobody gets hurt. We're not just going to focus on zero injuries. What we're going to focus on is doing it the professional way. Predictable, professional performance and safety every time. So here's what I'd like for you to do. Take the time during your meeting today. Have some discussion. Do some brainstorming. Get some flip charts. I hope you've already done this because you've probably reviewed this already, this video. And I want you to put that up and as a group, get in groups and talk about it. What are the professional things that we're expected to do? What are we expected to do as professionals in order to go home every day without injury? How's that supposed to happen? Do that, and then I'll be seeing you in other frequent videos this year in 2013 to see how you're doing. And let's come back and visit on this and say, okay, how's that working for you this time when you're practicing predictable professional performance? This is Carl Potter, and don't forget, the goal is nobody gets hurt.